So again, for those that have joined us before, welcome and welcome back. For the folks that haven't joined us for some of these tech talks, welcome. So appreciate your time. So I have a few slides we're going to go over this morning. Let's see here. There we go. A couple of things. If you haven't joined us on this platform, this is the 8x8 meetings platform, and you will have the ability to chat questions and things like that. And we'll go over that. But we will ask people once we get into the presentations for the vendors to mute your microphone and preferably mute your camera if you wouldn't mind. You can change your view by using the tile button, and there's some other options that you can maneuver this platform with. But essentially, chat your questions, unmute your microphone, unmute your camera, and so on. Huge thank you to our sponsors who we have on here, 8x8 and BigLeaf. Chris, if you wouldn't mind, if you want to say hello. That'd be great.
Sure. Yeah, thank you for joining, everyone. I'm Chris Fabry. I'm the account executive for 8x8 for the New England region, local. I live up in Ipswich, Mass, and thanks for joining today.
Excellent. And Scott Weiss, if you want to say hello.
Just quickly closing my door there. So yes, hey, thanks for having me. I am the channel SE here at 8x8, and I'm here to talk some technical stuff and answer any technical questions and show you a little bit about our products. So thanks for having me, and look forward to the presentation.
Excellent, excellent. And the folks from BigLeaf, we have John and Mark. I'll let you start, John.
Sure. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, so I'm John Coyle. I'm the channel sales manager for BigLeaf here in the Northeast. I'm based in Massachusetts. And excited to be here. Thanks for the invite.
All right. Mark. Oh, you might be muted, Mark. I'm not sure.
Oh, good call. Thanks. Hey, guys. Appreciate you having me. I'm backing up John. So I am a partner development manager, and I help co-manage the Northeast territory with them. And I'll be here to answer any questions in the chat.
Excellent. All right. And we have a few people here from corporate data. Joe Spampanato here. I'm the president, and yeah, as I say, the chief bottle washer, but we wear many hats here. We're a close-knit team. I'll let the folks here. Kelly, you want to say hello?
Hi, Kelly Kucher, corporate data, senior client specialist, phone geek, and whatever else needs to be done. Thank you for coming.
Excellent. Christy, are you on? Did she have to? She have to leave for that other meeting? I believe she did. Rachel, you want to say hello?
Hi, Rachel Neary, client specialist with corporate data. Thanks for joining us.
Excellent. And Pete.
Hi guys, Pete Lankhurst down in Rhode Island, client specialist with corporate data. Thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it.
Excellent. So we're going to stick to this agenda. You know, we did our welcomes, or we're doing our welcomes and our CDVS intro here. After that, we're going to have BigLeaf speak for about 30 minutes, and we'll follow that up with 8x8. And at the end, as we normally do, we'll finish up with any questions that haven't been answered, and some raffles. A couple of housekeeping points. Again, as I mentioned, if you wouldn't mind muting your microphones and cameras while the presentation is going on. We are recording this session, and we will forward the link to the video after the fact. It takes us about a week to get those posted. We have a nice YouTube channel that we've been posting content to, so we'll send those out. And maybe you want to refresh information by listening in on that session again, or this session again, or maybe forward that along to other people. Feel free to do so. Each attendee that is present at the end will be receiving a Grubhub or Uber Eats gift card from one of our vendors. Also, everyone that is present at the end, you'll be entered for one of two e-gift cards, or drawing for a raffle. I'm not sure what we have here, but I'll let the vendors mention it at the end. As I mentioned, also type your questions. So we're looking for interaction. So as the presentations are going, we'll be monitoring the group chat. Again, down the bottom, if you hover over, there's a little icon where you can click on to open the chat window. Chat your questions. We'll interrupt the speaker, and appropriately interrupt the speaker. Have you either we'll read the question or have you ask the question if we're not sure what the meaning of the question is. We want to get those questions answered. This is your time to learn. This is really a learning session, and that's what we're looking to promote. And for each additional good question asked, you'll be entered to another chance to enter to win a raffle. For the folks that don't know us and who we are, the question usually gets asked, why CDVS? Why do business with CDVS? A couple of points here. We truly do focus on what's important to you, not what's important to us. Right? It's as simple as if we're not helping you and your business be successful, then we don't. There's no need for corporate data and voice solutions to be involved. We definitely take a consultative approach to understand what you're trying to achieve or what the business is trying to maybe improve on, and then find the best solution that fits those needs. We may have several ideas, and we'll present several ideas. If we feel that one idea or one solution is the best fit, we'll let you know why, and we'll present that. We definitely act as an extension of your team. We will be a part of a project, not only on the beginning, but through the implementation process, and then after the fact. Quite often, we'll launch a project with a customer, and afterwards, it might be a UC project or maybe a contact center solution project, and then we get a question about sd-wan. Right, so this is an ongoing relationship. So we continue to be a part of our customers' teams for the long haul. We definitely take a high touch approach. Of course, in today's age, we're not touching, right? We're doing everything remote, but we definitely take a high touch approach to all our projects that we work with. We definitely have a extremely high customer retention rate. So we have customers that go back to our first year in business in 2003. And we're happy to say and happy to announce that I believe the number is 26 new customers this year to date. So that's a pretty healthy number for us. And those range from five user UCaaS solutions to, I think our largest one to date is around 2,100 seats. So we definitely run the gamut, if you will, in terms of customer size. We definitely are passionate about what we do. We enjoy what we do. It's a sickness, it's an illness that we all have, but we definitely enjoy what we're doing, and we're passionate about it. And last but not least, you'll find doing business, if you choose to do business, there's three pillars of it: honest, integrity, and accountability. So we start there, and then we fill in the blanks of what all the other things that we do. We definitely want to be your partner, not just a vendor. And again, for all the reasons that I just mentioned. And thank you for attending. Little fun slide here, so I'll let you read it, and we'll get going with John over at BigLeaf.
All right, Joe. Thank you.
All right, I stopped sharing, so you should be able to.
Let's see if I can figure this out.
Should be on the lower left-hand corner.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get the application. Share. How are we doing?
See the slide.
Success.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good. Well, yeah. So thank you, everyone. I know we have half an hour. I'm going to try to keep a little shorter than that to leave room for some questions. As Joe mentioned, please interrupt. I think Joe and Mark will moderate those questions. So as they come in, please ask them. Definitely want to keep this somewhat informal. I won't spend too much time on the who is BigLeaf and too much about the, the speeds and feeds of the product. I plan to maybe talk about some of the challenges that we see out there that our customers are experiencing and how we can help solve them. And I think maybe just make you aware of the solution and how the CDVS team can help solve this problem for you. BigLeaf is an SD-WAN company. That's possibly a term that you've heard out there. It's I think it's become one of those terms. It's like saying cloud. It means a lot of different things. It's a very vague term, but I think in the bigger sense, SD-WAN is just a technology that allows centralized control and automation. But from there, it's very vague, and different companies have approached it very differently. BigLeaf takes the approach of using SD-WAN to really just to optimize traffic between a customer's location and some cloud resource, right? That cloud resource could be maybe it's hosted voice like 8x8, maybe it's a contact center solution, maybe it's Office 365, maybe it's Salesforce.com, or really any cloud resource, any SaaS application that could be your VPN traffic. Really, so our goal really, and in fact our stated goal as a company, is to ensure reliable and uninterrupted business communication and application performance over the internet. So really it's just about helping you perform optimally. We know that your mission critical applications live in the cloud. And if they don't currently live there, there's probably a plan to move them there at some point. So, and that's absolutely something that's happened over these last 6 months or so, is more and more customers are obviously moving applications into the cloud if they haven't already. So our goal is to just make sure that traffic is optimized to maximize uptime for you. And really, that's all we do. This is our sole product. This is our sole goal in life, is to help you really navigate all of your internet issues and resolve those issues and mitigate them, and really just maximize your uptime and performance. So why do we do this? I mean, I think, these charts are as of the end of last year, so I'm sure this is going to be hockey sticked over this year as well. There's been an explosion of cloud and SaaS services. I think we all know that. Seeing it on a chart, though, is interesting. From 2014, there was basically nothing, to 2018, 2019, that had grown exponentially. Now this is even going to be, I think after COVID, especially the explosion of, all the UC services like 8x8. I think any company who hasn't been looking at that is looking at that now. So this growth is really just going to continue. What we've seen too, this was actually a survey done by Blissfully, who tracks cloud and SaaS services, and this is at the end of last year. And really, I'm probably preaching to the choir, because many of you on this call probably fit within this 50 to 100 employee companies. But this was just one of the categories, and some interesting things here. The average company of 71 employees is spending $2,000 per year on cloud and SaaS services. So that's a large amount of money. And really, the way that they're accessing those services is over internet circuits, which can become very unreliable. So you've got to control not only 71 employees' access, but those 71 employees could be using 79 different applications. So 584 interconnections between those people and those applications. There's a lot to manage and control there. And those applications turn over, right? So within 2 years, 44% of those applications are going to turn over. The applications you're using today might not be the ones you're using 3 months from now. And the other challenge that we see out there is 12 unique billing owners in this case. Anyone with a laptop and a credit card can now sign up for a cloud service, right? So there might be someone in accounting who goes and signs up for QuickBooks Online. Maybe doesn't notify IT about this. They don't notify their MSP. They don't, they don't tell the team at Corporate Voice and excuse me, Corporate Data Voice. So no one in IT knows that this is happening, but then they get that call that's saying, hey, my QuickBooks is not working today, and it's scrambling, there's a fire drill. Hey, we didn't even know you were using that. Why is it not performing? So there's just a lot to deal with for IT to deal with. So what BigLeaf is trying to do is come in and add some intelligence, add some optimization to make your life easier, so you can sleep a little better at night. As we mentioned, the way to get from your locations to those cloud services is over the internet, right? And that's where issues can occur. ISPs have an SLA, but that's really just a repair time. There's no performance guarantees. There's no quality of service controls on the internet. And then it can lead to all these issues: packet loss, latency, jitter, throughput issues, outages, right? So these are all the things that I'm sure you all battle constantly. And there's probably nothing more frustrating than having an issue, calling your ISP and having them say, everything looks fine, just call us if it happens again, or we tested it, it looks fine, right? So there's no, you and your IT staffs, there's probably someone who knows servers, might be somebody who knows switches, there might be somebody who knows phones. But there's nobody who's the internet expert, right? I mean, there's nobody who can magically come in and fix internet issues. So that's really where we're trying to come in and, add some intelligence and add some visibility for you to make your life easier. I'll stop there. Joe, any questions, or should I keep going?
Bob had a question. Bob Dubois. Mark did answer it, but I'll read it out just in case people didn't see it. Bob's question is your router plug and play at the remote site? And what about data center traffic?
Okay.
So Mark did mention that things are plug and play, that you will be covering some of this in your deck, in your slide deck?
Absolutely. In fact, that's very good timing, because there you go. So all that said, bringing BigLeaf into your organization and kind of layering us on top of your ISPs, really, there's a couple benefits, a couple implications of doing that, right? We try to make things easy. We're all about ease of use, ease of operation, ease of support. So the router that we do send out, I'll actually show you a diagram in a second here. There's a router that goes at each of your locations, and that router does come fully configured. It's plug and play, so very simple to set up. All of our QoS policies and all of our controls are completely autonomous. So right away, right out of the box, it will start to actually shape and manage all of your traffic for you. So there's no pre-configuration needed. Everything right out of the box works. It's a fully managed service. As far as reliability, we have our own cloud gateway network. So we manage and control this network. There's SLAs, there's redundancy. There's redundancy built not only into our core network, but we can add a redundancy at site level as well with redundant hardware and spare hardware options. So we can add as much redundancy as you need into the solution. Flexibility, as I mentioned, the software is fully autonomous, but our dynamic QoS can really adapt to your traffic and create a custom policy for you. So the software will automatically visualize all of your traffic that's passing through. It will automatically classify that and put it into a QoS policy to make sure that your critical traffic gets really is handled properly without any configuration. So that's nice that it will speed up the time of installation because it's basically plug and play. But what's also nice is as your traffic changes over time, if you add a new cloud application, or maybe you're not using 8x8 now, but you will be in 2 months, as soon as that traffic starts passing through the network, we'll automatically identify them and classify it and handle all that traffic properly. So there's no configuration needed. You don't have to babysit the configuration and manually enter policies. It's completely automated. So again, trying to keep things easy and flexible. Software I mentioned is fully autonomous. So this all happens. This is kind of our secret sauce. This is our artificial intelligence software, which is kind of managing all of that QoS policies and the traffic shaping and everything without you having to manage it.
Hey, John.
Yes, sir.
So Bob Dubois did have another question. So can you manually does I guess the
yeah, so
you manually change the QoS policy?
So I would say that, just to throw a number, 95% of customers don't have to configure anything, right? So our software will automatically pick up on really any traffic, any type of cloud traffic. We probably have seen it, we've classified it, and it has a policy built. There are cases where we need to customize though. Maybe there might be either an application we've never seen before, or maybe you want to get specific and specifically prioritize traffic to a certain IP address in a data center, right? So we can create a custom policy for you. Our team can work with you to build that policy. Or maybe you don't like our default handling of a certain traffic type. You want it to be prioritized even higher. Those are absolutely things we can customize. But just to throw a number, I'd say 95% of the time we don't have to do that. Our default policies are probably what's going to work best.
Okay. All right, great. And
yeah.
I don't know if you're going to go into it in more detail. I see on your slide here, and you know I'm a big one about this. I'm a big proponent about this. Firewall friendly. Do you discuss that in more detail?
Absolutely, yeah. So that's another part. I guess we could put that under ease. We could put that under flexibility, I guess, under that category. But maybe a diagram would help here. So this is a typical site that's using BigLeaf, and we've kind of overlaid. If we look at that earlier diagram with all those problems kind of over the internet, you bring BigLeaf in and overlay on top of that, and there's a few things that happen when you do that. One, I guess, as Joe mentioned, firewall friendly, meaning we are sitting outside of your firewall. So we look like a WAN solution, right? You're plugging all of your ISP connections into the BigLeaf router and then plugging the firewall into the other side of the BigLeaf router. So as far as the firewall is concerned, there's a single ISP here, it's BigLeaf. So even though physically you're going to be bringing other ISPs into your building, the firewall is going to plug into the BigLeaf router. So the implication there is that you can stay with your best of breed security solution. The solution you have implemented today, which has all kinds of security policies, and you spent a lot of time to get a best of breed solution. You don't have to change any of that. The only thing you have to change is your IP address. You put it onto this new BigLeaf IP address we'll assign you, and that's the extent of the change. So that, this is usually a 10 to 15 minute installation. No changes to the firewall other than IP address. So a very simple installation. The other part of the solution is our gateway clusters. So these sit in data centers. What happens is the traffic from the firewall flows into the BigLeaf router. We send that across through to one of our gateway clusters and then either out onto the public internet, or we have a direct peering relationship with thousands of cloud providers. So that means that we can that traffic that's destined for any one of these thousands of cloud providers never hits the public internet. It goes from the gateway cluster right into this cloud provider's network. So we effectively can control your traffic for you from your location all the way to this cloud provider. And what happens is we can do load balancing then across multiple ISPs. So this is active load balancing. If you plug in 3 ISPs into us, we will send traffic across 3 IPs at one time. I'm sorry, ISPs at one time. Seamless failover between ISPs. So let's say you have an 8x8 call up across ISP number 1. And during that call, we're continuously monitoring the performance of these ISPs. So if anything happens on ISP number 1 where that call is, and we need to move it to ISP number 2, we can move it in the middle of the call without dropping that call. So you can always ensure that your traffic is on the ISP that's performing best for that traffic at that point in time. So in real time, we can modify and move traffic around as needed to best suit what you're doing. If you're doing a Windows update and you just need bandwidth, maybe ISP number 3 is the best for that one. So there's no more sense of, yeah, this is my primary circuit and this is my backup. BigLeaf looks at them as all as active circuits. We can use the one that performs best. The only time that's not the case is if we truly have a backup circuit. So maybe you have a 4G or a satellite connection that we want to utilize as backup only. We can definitely set for backup. But in most cases, the ISPs you're plugging into us, we're going to just always utilize the one that's performing best at that point in time. So did that answer the question, Joe, do you think?
I think so. And Mark's chiming in. So a couple other things.
Oh, good.
I think we talked about redundancy. What kind of redundancy from firewall? Got that. What about links from routers to high availability firewall configuration?
Okay. So that might be a conversation for another day, because I don't have any diagrams for that. But I guess I'll just say that BigLeaf router that we're putting at the location can be put into high availability mode, where we're going to send 2 BigLeaf routers. So they'll both be kind of active, each one plugged into each ISP, plugged into your high availability firewalls, which is likely why we're doing this. So it's a fully redundant hardware design. We also have the capability to send out a spare router, so the customer could have a second router sitting there fully configured. If that primary fails, we just move the cables over to the spare, you're back up and running. So that's a manual process as opposed to the HA configuration, which is fully automated. So there's options there, either from a single router to a spare to a full HA design. Then if anybody wanted to talk about what that actually looks like and what plugs in where, we can definitely dive into that offline.
Perfect. Yeah. That's good.
So this is what's nice about the BigLeaf design is this would be the same configuration, we'll call it, for a single location or thousands of locations. So no matter how big or small your organization is, we have a solution that can fit. So we can, low bandwidth solutions as low as 20 meg up through 3 gig. So the solution can grow with you. Up to 4 ISPs can plug in, really any speed. So we can just match our service plan to what you have for bandwidth and make sure that we have a solution, whether it's, again, single site or multiple locations, it doesn't matter. I wasn't going to demo this, but the information that we're gathering from our monitoring from both the router and from the gateway cluster, and what helps us make a decision as to how to load balance traffic, all that data is actually displayed in a web dashboard as well. So we have a dashboard that's accessible to the customers, where you can see the performance data for all of your circuits across all of your sites for the last month, day, week, hour, and also set up alerting. So you can either be alerted on the event level, so you could, anytime one of your ISPs has any sort of issue, and you can set the thresholds on this, but you can be alerted every time that they have any sort of issue. And then we recently added the ability to set up what we call risk monitoring. So instead of just getting an alert that maybe says there was packet loss on an ISP circuit, we're now displaying that in the form of a risk. So we'll say that, you have, you only have one ISP that's up and running at a certain site, and there's issues in the download direction. So you have some download risk exposure for site number 1, on ISP number 2, right? So we're putting it into more of, rather than just giving you alert, we're kind of trying to identify what the risk is to your business of that site. So we just added that capability, which is neat. So if anybody wants to see a demo of that, we can absolutely arrange it. It is a fully managed service, so we like to think that when you're a BigLeaf customer, you're kind of entrusting your network to us, and we try to provide great support. Fully managed service, 24/7 access to our tech support engineers. They live answer. So if it's 3 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday and you call in, someone will answer and hop right into it with you. We do a lot of cross-vendor troubleshooting, we'll call it. if you call BigLeaf and not sure what the problem is, we can help you identify, is it a BigLeaf issue? Is it a ISP issue? Is it a firewall issue? Work that issue with you to resolution, hop on the phone with you with a provider and kind of troubleshoot your circuits with them. So fully invested in your success. We have a 96% retention rate of customers. So once our customers join us, unless they go out of business, they're usually a BigLeaf customer for life. So we like to pride ourselves on that. I did want to mention, so up until March, obviously, most of our conversations were about our corporate office and connectivity between that office and a cloud resource. Obviously, since then, there are probably many of us on this call who are taking this call from home, right? So things changed in March, and this data is actually from March, but and I think we've all seen on the news, I think recently, there have been, I think maybe 17 Fortune 100 companies who have now said that their employees can work from home indefinitely, right? They might not be coming back to the office. So now it's changed to where we're supporting our end users from a location that we don't control, right? So we'd like to provide an enterprise-grade experience to them, but now they're accessing those cloud resources over some kind of residential circuit. So how can we bring some stability to them? We kind of took our core solution and came up with a work from home option to help support those folks at home. And I thought, I don't think any of this is changing. I mean, there's a lot of data out there that says maybe a quarter of the workforce might be working from home, at least part-time, probably indefinitely, right? And there are some savings there, right? From this survey showed that you could save $11,000 a year per every employee who works remotely half the time. So there's definitely some savings there, and there are some organizations that are going to be taking advantage of this. Might be some of you on this call. So really, what is the challenge? I mean, I think we all know, right, where there are parents working from home, there are children doing online schooling, there are some kids who might not be at school, they're downstairs streaming something. So all of this going on at the same time over a residential circuit, there's no control over this, right? There's no quality of service that's happening. So we have a solution where we can layer BigLeaf now onto your residential ISP and provide quality of service controls for your critical traffic. So we can ensure that your 8x8 traffic has priority over your Netflix streaming, or if you're on Office 365 or using Google or whatever the cloud or SaaS application is that's critical to you, we can make sure that gets priority over the non-critical traffic. Or maybe your kids are using Zoom and they're on calls. We can make sure that the criticals prioritize over the non-critical, and probably just as importantly from the IT perspective is that same dashboard reporting that we give for our corporate sites, we give for home sites as well. So now if you're an IT support trying to support a home user, now you've got visibility into what's happening at that home office and what are the issues, where are they occurring, when are they occurring. So now if you have to troubleshoot with a provider, you've got a ton of data now to work with to help resolve those issues more quickly rather than really flying blind. So it's the same service as we provide for our corporate customers, but it's always available. It does come in a month-to-month term, so there's not a long-term commitment in order to get a home office up and running. And again, prioritizing those business applications, same level of support, same support team. So trying to make that that work from home experience similar to what you'd expect from an office, even over a single ISP connection. So I will pause it there, I guess. How are we doing for questions, Joe and Mark? Any that we haven't been able to answer?
It looks like we are up to date. I have a question, John, just to
Absolutely
clarify, right? So unlike well, potentially, unlike some of the other SD-WAN providers, you are not in the business of replacing the existing firewall.
That, absolutely correct. Yes. We'll work with an existing firewall or even a cloud-based solution. Yes.
And in many cases, your competitors are looking to become that firewall solution. Is that right?
Yes. In many cases, what you'll see out there in the SD-WAN market is many of the vendors are now trying to transition to providing a security solution as well. And there may certainly be cases where that is the best fit for a customer. We have seen cases where it is and cases where it isn't, because I wouldn't necessarily categorize any of those solutions as best of breed security. I mean, there's plenty of security companies out there who have a standalone solution, whether it, standalone firewall or a cloud-based solution. So if you're either looking at one of those solutions to deploy or you have already deployed, BigLeaf paired with one of those solutions is often the best bang for the buck, in the sense that you're now getting best of breed security, you're getting the best of breed optimization, and having them both work together is sometimes a better solution than a single vendor trying to come in and do both and maybe potentially not doing either well. Because many of those SD-WAN solutions that provide security do provide security. They do provide some cloud connectivity, but they're not necessarily doing it the best way that a customer needs. Because the beautiful part of the BigLeaf solution is we don't care who the firewall is, but we also don't care what the cloud application is. It's not just AWS and Azure that we're trying to prioritize to, which many of them do. We don't care what the cloud application is. It could be 8x8, it could be Starleaf, it could be QuickBooks, it could be Sales. We don't care who it is. There could be an application that comes out tomorrow that no one's ever heard of. We can prioritize it. So I think it's the flexibility to work with any cloud provider, any ISP, and any firewall, which makes us kind of a unique solution.
Excellent. All right. Looks like we are up to date on questions. So.
Oh, great. If anyone thinks of any, we're hanging around. So. yeah,
you'll be here till right. So.
Absolutely.
We'll follow up with and open it up for questions at the end. So, John, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Great. Great session. So we will turn it over to Chris and Scott. Chris, I believe you're going to start the session. And you may be muted.
I most certainly am.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to screen share here. Can you see my screen?
I can see the screen, yeah.
Okay, great. So let me enable my camera here as well.
Yep, we can see you.
Great. Okay, so we did some introductions earlier. I'm Chris Fabry, 8x8 account executive for the New England region, and I'm here with Scott Weiss, our channel sales engineer. Scott, if you can help monitor questions as we go through the beginning of this, that would be great.
I will.
So we're going to talk today more high level, right? More about trends in the industry and what some of the options are. And then when we're done, if anybody wants to have a discovery call on this or demonstration, please reach out to Corporate Data and Voice, and we'll speak about that a little more as we get toward the end. So our subject today, right, is to move to the cloud. So for most customers, this is where are you today, right? Your business, what are your needs? Right? What are the challenges with today's environment? There's been a lot of changes. And then where are you going? What's a desired environment that you want to be in? So there's some undeniable realities that are impacting business communication, right? So the workforce most definitely has changed, right? Millennials are used to mobility. They want SMS. They communicate differently than say other generations. So you've got that going on, right? You need to meet those needs, right? And then user experiences have never been higher. People in today's day and age want instant communication, right? That's what we expect. And then no cloud is no longer a viable option. The evolution from going to legacy to premise to cloud, has happened, right? That ship sailed a long time ago. Now the real question is, how do we do it so it's right for our business? That's what we're seeing. And COVID, impacted and expedited a lot of this, but this was already happening. So here's some statistics that out there, but 82% of businesses have moved or plan to move part of their enterprise solutions to the cloud. 85% of companies use 2 or more collaboration applications to meet requirements, right? Because there's a lot of great apps that have come out over the last several years around messaging in particular and collab. And what's happening is companies are have these silos all over the place with multiple applications. Right? These are some of the challenges. But here's some of the workforce changes. As of 2019, 10,000 baby boomers are retiring each day. And by 2025, 75% of the employees are going to be millennials, okay? Within the next decade, 50% of US workers are going to work from home 3 days a week or more. And in 2020 forward, a video is no longer going to be a nice to have tool for business communications. There's studies that show that 75% of CEOs expect video conferencing to completely replace conference calls in the near future. Right, so lots of change going, and it's a combination of technology, what's going on with the reality of COVID, things like that, right? But those stats that I just showed you were pre-COVID. Massive change going on here, and customers are trying to navigate this. So here's where we can help, and some of the ways you can do this. So,
hey, Chris.
I'm sorry.
Sorry to interrupt. I don't know if it's. Your microphone is in and out. I don't know if that's, I'm not sure what that is, so.
Okay, why don't I throw on my headset?
Okay.
How's that, a little better?
Yeah, I don't want people to get distracted.
No, thank you. I don't have the best microphone in my laptop. So the cost of doing nothing, right? That's, if it's not broke, don't fix it. It can cost revenue and employees, right? So companies need to make changes. And then there's a bloated communications environment, different vendors for each channel. These silos that I mentioned earlier, they can increase cost, security risk, and provide a poor experience. And then the inability to fully leverage business data. So data analytics is becoming bigger and bigger all the time, right? How do we use data, right, to improve our customer experience and capture all that effectively and create new revenue streams. So being mobile is not the same as working remote. So by that we mean they're working remote and working mobile, right? A mobile worker is somebody that can, like our company and several other technology companies have embraced this for a long time, but I can go anywhere with my laptop and be a mobile worker and have all the collaboration, efficiency, and productivity that I need. Okay, so what's happened during the COVID is that a lot of people have had to make rapid changes to do something to get by. I've met many customers we've talked to in the last 6 months who, all they could do is they'll have somebody working at home, but if somebody calls them on their phone, it goes to their voicemail. They have it forwarded to voicemail, and then that premise phone system is all it's capable of doing is sending an email, a WAV file to the person, letting them know they got a voicemail. So if you're a customer-facing employee, that's not a good experience, right? That every call that comes into you gets voicemail, right? And companies are struggling with this. And now that things have, we've had time to digest all this, people are starting to move to where a real mobile solution. So this slide is what if you could, right, enable innovative work styles, right, for your decentralized workspace. What if you could provide evergreen communications, right, that was reliable and with customizable licensing, right? And you could analyze all of the data, right, for actionable insights, less time on maintenance, and increase the security and resiliency of your network infrastructure. So at 8x8, this is one of the things we strive for, the power of a single platform. We can unify your entire workforce. We can improve your efficiency and drive ROI. We can give you the uptime and reliability that you need. We have some of the best voice quality in the business. We're known for that. and we can future-proof your investment because it's with most cloud systems, right? You're not making a huge capital investment, putting it in the closet and hope it's not antiquated 2 years from now. So we'll provide one cloud, and we'll show you how we can do that for you. So we call our product the X series. We could call it anything, frankly, but what it is a combination of, it's your team messaging, it's your phone, your traditional phone, right? And that comes with a soft client. On your laptop, you can have a handset, you can have a mobile app. It comes with meeting collaboration like we're using today, right? Video, voice, and it comes with contact center. That's one of the things we're known for because we own the entire platform that you're looking at here, right? That we do very well with customers that are looking for a combination of contact center and unified communications, your traditional voice with contact center. And we do all this. We back it all up with guaranteed call quality. We have over 200 patents that we've established. That we're an engineering company, if you can't tell from some of these stats. We have 15 global data centers. We meet all the security and compliance check marks that people need, and we can provide you great data and network, access as well. And we the last point on the network agnostic access, we don't care whose connectivity you use. We will give you a network utility tool to make sure that you pass that assessment and make any changes that you need to. It's not expensive. You don't need private connections. Then if you can combine that, if you want to, with a great product like BigLeaf, right, you're going to even be in a better place when it comes to the network connectivity. So just a little bit about 8x8 for people who haven't heard about us. So I mentioned we have over 200 patents where we may not, to be frank, be the best marketing company, but boy, we have a product that works, and we're very, very heavily weighed toward engineering and development. We own our product. We own our stack. We are an 8-time Magic Quadrant leader. For people who know what the Gartner Magic Quadrant is, that's a really big deal. For you folks that don't, let's just call that the JD Power of our business. But some companies, if they're going to look at a UCaaS provider or a security provider, whatever it may be, will start their research with the Gartner Magic Quadrant. And if you're not in it, they won't talk to you. You'll find that with a lot of Fortune 1000 companies, right? The other thing that we're known for is superior voice quality, and there are studies on that, because none of this matters without great voice. Right, and then we've won several awards for our call center and communications provider, and we've been in business since the late '80s. So a little over 30 years. We've been publicly traded since the early '90s, and we got into this space in the early 2000s. And in the cloud space, that's very mature for our business. We've been around long before most of our competitors were in this space. So I mentioned earlier, we're a global company. If we have any customers out there that, if you have locations overseas or people that work overseas, we have one of the biggest global UCaaS networks in the industry. If you can tell looking at the slides here, we really cover most of the globe. We can meet any of those needs.
Hey, Chris?
Yes.
Just want to include people in some of the questions if they're not following the chat. So Bob asked, what type of desk phones do you support? Scott did answer, Poly, Cisco, and Yeelink. And Scott, I'm going to ask if you could put the link. I know there's a page, an 8x8 page that does include what devices are supported by 8x8. So I think that would be helpful.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, Anthony asked, how many users agents will 8x8 support? So I think that's a two-parter, right? So I'll let somebody answer that one.
Yeah, I mean, so since we're a cloud solution, we really don't have an actual limit, so to speak, but I'll give you some examples. I mean, you can start off with one, as small as one. We have a customer that has 2,000 agents. They have 20,000 users. We have another customer that has 40,000 plus users. So, one of the beauties of a cloud-based solution is there's really no necessary limit, but definitely we can scale. So it's a great product, and we can certainly talk to you more about specifics about each customer and where they're located, and based on this slide too. Some of the larger ones, like that 20,000 user one, is actually a global company. They're all over the world. So it's definitely a very scalable solution.
Okay. Let's see. Bob had a question. What type of configuration is required for a desk phone?
Kind of meaning what type of phone or what type of license?
Not sure.
Sounds like the configuration, like when we ship the phone and you can simply put in the code we provide.
Oh, how to configure it. Oh yeah, you might be right there. Yeah. So if it is a matter of configuring it, I'll go. That's a great question. And if it's not, you can just post it again. But so we do supply phones through 8x8. You can purchase them, rent them through us. When you receive those phones from 8x8, they're already pre-configured to connect to our data center. They can either be initialized by MAC address, or we will give out a access code that gets delivered to each user, and they can type the code in to be able to set it up. We do support other third-party devices, so if you do have your own phones, we can bring them along too, if you want to do that, as long as it's one of the phones that we do support on our list. And as Joe asked, I will post that list to the screen. There's another question about E911. So we do support E911 in the sense that each location can be set up to support a 911 for that location. We can send an email out to be able to do that. When you're using the mobile device, it will use your cell phone automatically to be able to do that. And then beginning in January, there's some new rules coming out in the US. So we will be following those rules. That's called nomadic 911. So you'll be able to basically put a phone anywhere and move. If you move from location to location, we'll be able to identify that location based on where it's at. So that is available towards the end of this year. But right now, E911 is fully supported as the rules stand today.
And if you have work at home, folks, it's right in the user settings. They put their address in, and it takes care of that, and through the soft client. Okay. And when it comes to phones, we're finding a lot of folks. I'd say about 50-50 on people that are just not even using handsets anymore. They're just want a soft client and a mobile app. They're comfortable working that way. And then we have other folks that, hey, we want handsets. It's just a preference. But no matter what, when you get a call on a unified communications provider like 8x8, it's going to hit 3 touch points. It's going to hit a handset if you have one. It's going to hit your soft client, and it's going to hit your mobile app. So there's never a reason to miss a call. I'm in sales. I need to be accessible to people. If I even leave my desk to go downstairs and fill my glass of water, I grab my mobile phone, right? There's no excuse to send a call to voicemail in today's day and age unless you're on another call and can't get to it, or a meeting.
So a couple of things. Back to Scott, the technology that you were speaking about, where the phone will essentially recognize where it is, right? Mm-hmm. 8x8's been working towards. I believe they've been working towards supporting the requirements in the Carey's Law and the Ray Bombs Act. Correct? Isn't that
right? So Carey's Law fully supported. Ray Bonds is the next one that's coming, and that's where it really calls out this concept of nomadic. So if you're in a multi-location office or on a campus, multiple buildings, and you're moving from building to building, or adjusting your phone, what we will do, just in a basic sense, is we'll look at where it's connected, right? So if you're connecting to an access point in building A, then when you make a 911 call, it will say, hey, you're in building A. So that's part of that nomadic piece of it, which is we can do some of that today. Actually, we do have a partner that we can work with. So if it's a requirement that you need today, we do work with a partner, but we are going to be putting it directly into our system as a plug and play, to the point of just as Chris mentioned, you could just go in there and change it yourself, like to that point. So that's definitely coming.
So what I'll do is, for the folks that don't know about those two items, Carey's Law and the Ray Bombs Act, I'll put a link to the FCC page in the chat so people can read up on it if they're not familiar. Maybe that's helpful. And then we did have one other question that we skipped over from Anthony. Will each agent need a license, or are they sold in groups?
So when it comes to our contact center, we sell the licenses concurrently, where you get 5 users, if you would, for every license. Okay, which makes it very cost effective. So if you had a contact center, if you had 50 people employed at your contact center, but it was over 7 days and multiple shifts, whatever, just to make the numbers easy, and you only had 10 concurrent contact center users, you never needed more than 10 logged in, you only have to buy 10 licenses. Okay, now when it comes to a voice, we'll just say a standard voice user license, it's 1 for 1. But on contact center, it's concurrent users, and for good reason, because often people work in shifts, right? And they don't have, the concurrent doesn't match the total employees.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'll move to the next slide. So our X series, this covers a little more detail about how it works, right? So for the voice-centric users, it's unlimited. This is our, let's just call them voice users and contact center users, right? But even our basic license, I'll call it a standard license. It's unlimited calling in the US. In Canada, you get meetings, you get a mobile app, you get a soft client, you get all the really cool stuff of any device, anywhere connectivity that unified cloud communications can bring to you. Okay. Our next level up brings a little more in that you can integrate with a lot of popular CRMs like Salesforce and things like that right out of the box. Okay, you can have group chat, and you get some free calling plans to international countries. Then another license type we have, this is for supervisors and system managers. This might be for what we call our call center light. You've got a call queue, group of people taking calls from customers, and maybe you have a manager of that team, and they want to be able to listen in on those calls or barge in or monitor calls. It comes with that type of capability, and it comes with supervisor analytics, abandoned calls, all the stats, calls and queue that might matter. And in addition to that, it has these awesome tools for the IT team where you can, if you're having a call quality issue, we have a call quality analytic that you can drill right down on that call all the way to the endpoint and see where was the issue, latency, jitter, all things. What kind of network was that person on? Oh, they were on a Wi-Fi at the Starbucks and it's horrible. So our problem isn't our UCAS system here. It's where this person happens to be located today. Okay, and then you get into our contact center, what we call our full contact center, really deep analytics, intelligent IVR, and we have several license types that we offer in that realm. Now, what's really cool about our model is that if you had an example here, you had 100 people and 75 of those people, the X1 standard license, it's going to give them everything they need. That works great for them. That license has X price. Well, we've got some people that need CRM integration. We've got a sales team here or a customer service team, right, that needs that. And there's 25 of those people. Where you can completely mix and match these licenses. So, and you would think, well, of course you would do that, right? Why wouldn't you? But with some of our competitors in the industry, that's not how it is. If you need the, say CRM integration feature, everybody has to buy it. So it drives up cost, number one, or more importantly, you're not future-proofed. If a new application comes out a year or two from now, and you have a handful of people that needs that, you don't have to upgrade all 100 people in this case to a higher end license. And that's the whole purpose of going, well, not the whole purpose, but one of the main reasons about going to the cloud is that you're not going to make a huge capital investment and walk into the CFO's office a year and a half from now looking for whatever, $500,000, right? Nobody wants to be that guy, right, in that position. And our model helps you avoid that. Something we really value, customers value, and that we're proud of.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
Bob has a question, and I think it's a good one. All been really good. Do you charge? Does 8x8 charge for the number of DIDs, or do they charge for available call paths?
So good question. We made this super easy. There are no call paths, right? You just get the bandwidth that you need, and you can run different compression ratios, 64K, 32. There's different compression that you can run for the voice your voice quality. But just get the bandwidth, and we can help you with that. We have charts, things like that, can tell you if you're going to have this many concurrent calls, you should have about this much bandwidth. So no call paths. Then when it comes to DIDs, every X license comes with a DID, right? Free. Now, if you want additional numbers, which most people do, and I recommend that you get them, they're very affordable. It's like a block of 100 DIDs for $25 a month, say, that you could have saved for future growth, or some people have some really nice blocks of numbers that you can't get anymore, and they don't want to give them up. That's another way you can do that. So hope that helps.
Perfect. Thank you.
So this is a pretty busy slide. We're not going to get into it other than you see the left side, right? That's today's environment for a premise-based customer. If you look on the right, a lot less going on, right? And it's a lot more redundant. That's a cloud infrastructure. These are some of the customers that we've done business with and their success stories. We have a really big McDonald's franchise that's reduced their communications cost, right, and improved their uptime. And then there's these similar stories here. But what a lot of people realize once they move to a cloud solution is how much easier it is to manage. Ship a phone out, or grab a license, download the app, and you've got a new user go into a very easy to use portal that's very user intuitive. It's web-based. You don't need to send somebody to, Cisco school for a week to learn how to do this stuff. Very simple. Okay, so if any customers after we're done today want to learn more, like I said, please contact Corporate Data and Voice. But here's how we can help people. This is what we try to do. This is a roadmap that how we can help you, right? So we start with discovery, right? Let's learn about your business. A lot of people want to go right to a demo because I think they've been programmed, or a lot of companies, let's give you a demo. We don't think that makes a lot of sense. We can do it if a customer really needs to, but we usually have that demo after discovery. So let's find out what your requirements are, and we know the questions to ask and where the pitfalls are to help guide you, right? Then we'll design a solution for you, right, that works for you. Then we'll plan, right? We'll develop an implementation schedule to work around what works for your business in a rollout strategy, right? We'll install the systems, right? We'll port the numbers, we'll test and validate, and we'll go live. We have a very, very robust project management team. We've been doing this for 20 years. We've done some of the biggest UCaaS deployments in the world. We're really proud of it. Okay. And then we have some migration engines tools where we can identify, how to extract some data so that you don't have to manually load everything if you're going to move over from, say, a legacy Avaya system to us, right? Right. How can we validate data, right? And we can do batch migrations and things to help with all of that. So this is a pretty busy slide, but I just want to say to people, hey, if you're considering this, if you're looking at it, you can count on us, not only to show you what our product does, but more importantly, guide you on how you can make this move. Right? This is what we do. So we're going to have a short, Scott's going to do a short demonstration for us, but before we do that, I guess I'll pause and see if there are any more questions.
Not as of right now.
Fantastic. All right, Scott, I'm going to stop sharing.
Great. Thanks, Chris. And Joe, just to keep track of time, how much time do I have?
6 minutes.
6 minutes. All right, so we'll do the 6-minute demo.
Yeah.
Of course, we could do like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever we need to do. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. So one of the things that's really great about this whole session is that we've been using 8x8 the whole time that we've been doing this, and I'm showing you right now my 8x8 work. This is my desktop application. I'm using Windows. It doesn't matter if you're Windows, a Mac, if you want to use it on your Android device, your iPhone, and we do have a web version that's available if you want to just go the web route. So this is the part of the tool that is our meeting tool. So you can see I have everyone in tile mode, and you know, I can see your faces if you were showing your screens. We can see what's going on. I can click on certain people, and in this case, because Chris is using the software, many of you have joined via a browser, which is great. We don't require any download. We don't require any plugins or anything like that. But because if you do have the software, I would be able to ask Chris to say, hey, let me take over your computer because maybe we were having a discussion, he wasn't seeing something, or maybe I want to do some training, but I want to be able to take him through that training, so I can take that over. You know we're recording this particular call, so that was started right now. But we also have the ability to live stream to YouTube. We can have up to 100 people in this meeting, but if you needed more than 100 people, you could just stream it right to YouTube and be able to see it there. So it's a really great tool, and I probably spend I'd say 90% of my day in this meeting. So you can see here I have a bunch of different meetings here that come up, and I can join those meetings right from inside the software, and I can just get started. So I can see those here. I can see my recent meetings. So here are some of the meetings that I was working on. Here's the reality of life. I was helping my college student with his project, so we were using the meetings to do that too. It's just part of life now, right? Everything it's put into place. But I have all the information here. If I needed to, I can download a recording of that particular meeting, and I have it at my fingertips. I can see who participated. And then again, like in this particular meeting, we're keeping all these notes. They would be available there too. So it's a great tool. And like I said, I spend most of my day in here doing meetings. I think that we already talked about that a little bit before, some of the statistics where video meetings or meetings are going to be kind of the move forward. But what's great is while I'm here.
Hey, Scott, we do have a question, and I think it's going to be a quick one. Chromebooks. How does 8x8 support Chromebooks?
Yeah, so we actually are revamping our web version. So meetings are fine as long as it's in Chrome, but for the full tool, we'll be coming out with it probably in the next 30 days, which is a fully functioning Chrome or web version of this tool. Once that's out, it doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's a browser, as long as one of the supported browsers, will be able to do everything you're going to see here in that browser. Right now, you should be able to join a meeting as long as you're using Chrome as your browser. You should be able to get into the meeting. As far as these other things I'm going to show you, that will be coming very soon. Okay. We had a web version. It was kind of older, tired. We wanted to revamp it, so we have that coming out very soon.
Perfect.
So again, I can pivot to my information here where I can see my DID. As Chris mentioned, everyone gets their own direct inward dial number, so that any call that comes in will ring my desktop version, it'll ring my mobile version, it'll ring my web version when that's available. I have that available to me. I can put a status message here. You can see automatically the system knows I'm in do not disturb. I'm in busy state because I am on the phone right now in a meeting, so it's completely tied together. This is a very popular thing that happens a lot. Let's say I wouldn't do this during this large meeting, but let's say we're just having a very small meeting, and I need to place a call to somebody. What usually happens is someone puts you on hold, and then you hear hold music, and it drives everyone crazy. What I can do here is if I need to make a phone call, I can just go make the phone call, and because they're tied together, it will automatically mute me out of the meeting. It will not put me on hold, and then I can go and make my phone call. Then when I need to, I can come back to the meeting. So it's a really nice kind of integration that we have here to be able to move back and forth. I have my call history. So here are all the calls I've made in and out of the phone system. If it's an internal person, I could chat with them. If they're an external person, I can send an SMS to them. So I can send a chat to their mobile device. I have voicemail. So I love this. This is visual voicemail. Here, Jim called. Jim's one of my coworkers. He left a 2-second call. I didn't even listen to it. I just basically called him back, right? I know it's probably just, hey, call me. But I can also see here, if I click on a particular call, I'll get a transcription of that particular voice message. So I can really prioritize. I can see what's going on. I may not even have to listen to the message. I might be able to get the information right from the transcription. But I can, of course, prioritize based on calls. And you can see I've got a couple decent-sized calls here, right, and some small ones. So I have that flexibility. We also have our contacts, so I can integrate into contacts. So these are my Google contacts. You could have Office 365 contacts, and just like you would with your cell phone, I create favorites, so I don't want to have to use all of them. I'm using my headset, but you could have a desk phone like we talked about. You could also add in any other phone number to be. So let's say you're working in maybe you had to travel to a relative to do some work, or you're working in a location where your cell phone's not working, you're not using your mobile device. You could always put in the local phone number here, have calls go right to that. So I do think I'm running up on time, but I definitely wanted to give you a quick view and show how we use this tool every day. I'm in it constantly, and it really helps me get my job done. It helps me communicate with others, and certainly we can take a deeper dive at a later time and talk more about how it might be helpful for your organization. So I think we're pretty good. That was my 6 minutes, Joe. Maybe 7 I squeezed out of that. You're muted.
Yes,
Yeah.
you did fine. Thank you.
Thanks.
And it's Chris, there's a mobile app that comes with this as well. It's really powerful. Everything you see on this screen is on your phone too, and it outpulses your work phone number. Very important to people. A lot of people are using their mobile phones during COVID especially, and they don't want their personal phone number going out. So we can help you with that. And again, anybody that's interested, reach out to Corporate Data and Voice. We can do some discovery. After we do that, a really in-depth demo. CDVS is expert in this stuff. They've been doing it for 20 years, and we'd love to work with you, and we appreciate your time.
Hey, Scott, we do have one, maybe not the last question, but we have another question. If not mistaken, 8x8 integrates with Microsoft Teams. What does that integration look like, and what does it mean?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, we just spent, I spent the last couple of minutes talking about our applications, but we do recognize Teams as a collaboration tool. So we do have an integration, and the simplest answer to this is we voice enable Teams. We give you all the things that Chris talked about our calling and our uptime and our quality is offered in Teams. And here's the thing, there's nothing to do on the Teams side. If you're using Teams today and you're making calls internally, and you want to be able to make calls externally, as soon as we enable it with the 8x8's Voice for Teams add-on, you'll be able to make that call. You'll be able to dial that number. So it's really a great integration. And if you do have Teams, we can certainly talk about that and the benefits we can offer. We also allow you to do some of the third-party integrations in the CRMs, and we could also include Contact Center in there. So all these pieces that we discussed, we would just replace the application with the Teams app as the endpoint. The question was asked before about what endpoints do we support, what phones do we support, and technically Teams is a phone that we do support. We'll supply the calling plans and give you the implementation.
Awesome, great, thank you. So we are running up to the end of our session. This has been a great session, a lot of interaction, which I know we all like as participants, right? It truly helps. So I want to thank everyone for participating and asking those questions, because it helps us as a group understand what people are thinking, how the presentation is going. So thank you. John, I see you pop back on. Any last thoughts before we do the raffle?
No, I don't think so. I appreciate everyone joining. Yeah, if anyone wants any further details, just reach out to the team. We can schedule something and do a deeper dive. So, yep, we very much appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, excellent. So what we'll do is we'll switch over. We'll do the raffle that and Bob and Anthony and Sean and others who asked questions. We've been adding an additional chance to win, and I'm gonna pick on John first. John, what are we giving away today? We'll do yours.
Well, it's Prime Day, so I guess we'll have to do Amazon, right?
Okay. So all right. So what are we winning on Prime Day?
So whatever you tell me to give.
That you already chose. Is that a $50?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We can do 50. Sure.
All right. So is Bianca still on with us? Because again, you have to be on to win.
Bianca does appear to be here.
Bianca, can you unmute and say hello for us, or just chat in the window?
Wow.
We'll hold that one off. So pick 8x8. Chris, do you know what 8x8 will be doing for a raffle?
I think Kelly and John had that information, but it sounds like a $50 gift card from us would be appropriate as well.
All right, great. So Sean, I know Sean's on here. Sean Harrington.
Hey.
Excellent.
Hey.
Thank you.
There we go.
Congratulations.
Great winner.
Get it?
Excellent. So I don't know, group. We're gonna have to go back to Bianca. Can you hear us? Are you there?
I say redraw.
I think we need to redraw.
Uh-oh.
All right, Bianca. Hold on. We'll redraw that one. And Bob Dubois. All right.
Oh, nice.
Shocking.
I believe Bob's here. He's still chatting in the window here.
Those extra questions got him over the top.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, asking questions, it helps win. So, that's what we have for today's session. Truly appreciate everybody's, joining us. Definitely a big thank you for the folks at BigLeaf and 8x8. Without you, we can't continue to do these. So, with that said, I'm going to turn this back over to your days and get back to it. So, thank you, and again, be safe and forge on as we're doing through this 2020 and looking towards 2021, right? So
78 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for having
Bye,
us.
everyone.
Yep. Bye now. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Guys.